What is up, you guys? Namir Khan here, pretty new my perspective as to what industry is bringing us. And today we'll be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. This is the third this is the third installment in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. It released on television on April 2nd, 2008. To celebrate 40 years of weekly Shonen Jump. And now you might be asking, what does Shonen Jump have to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds? Well, 5Ds is the second spin-off to the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is originally a manga series created by the late great Kazuki Takahashi. So basically, the whole entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle system that was inherited by GX and other spin-offs that came after all came from one man. Takahashi created one of the most iconic trading card games of all time. The franchise has a Guinness World Record for the best-selling card game of all time. So let's go to 5Ds, shall we? So the series stars Greg Abbey, Ted Lewis, Tom Whalen, Erica Schroeder, and Cassandra Lee Morris. This series is set in a dystopian future where a class system is set in place. The rich people live in New Domino City, while the poor live in a remote island called the Satellite. One particular person that lives in the satellite is one Yusei Fudo. He is a duelist who has an objective to reach his rival Jack Atlas, who lives in Neo Domino City. 5Ds introduces Synchro Summon to the card game. How this type of summon works is that you need a tuned Synchron monster while having a non-tuner monster in the field. Not only that, but those monsters need to equal the monster you are attempting to Synchro Summon. As the show goes on, there are more mechanics that the show introduces to the game. Synchro Summon is the big new mechanic that 5Ds was introducing. To say my piece on this, I love this show. Previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows that show that while there were world-ending stakes, they were generally light-hearted shows. 5Ds is far from that. Like I said, this show was set in the dystopian future with the class system in mind. So I can imagine that they would have trouble sugarcoating the dark stuff that happens in the background. Literally in the first season of 5Ds alone, Yusei not only went to prison, but when he was dueling against a cop, he gets electrocuted whenever he takes damage against their monster, making the stakes already super high. Another thing that I love about this show is the way they duel. So in 5Ds, they introduce a new dueling method where they use motorcycles called duel runners, and they use their runners to engage in games called turbo duels. It's a new way to make duels engaging to a lot of people, myself included. It just looks really cool. I also resonate with Yusei, kind of. He's by far the most brooding protag in all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, solely because he's been through a lot of shit. He's lived in the slums, he was beaten when he was in prison, his childhood friend ditched him to live in a rich lifestyle. Yeah, I feel sorry for Yusei for all the stuff he had to go through. One important factor that I didn't touch on are the signers. Only 5 people have a signer symbol. Yusei is one of those people, along with his rival Jack Atlas. So the signer symbol is a very important symbol because if 5 people get to ignite it at the same time, it ignites a huge deity called the Crimson Dragon. Now that dragon is capable of destroying the whole entire world. And the 3 other signers are Crow, Akiza, and Luna. And those 3 guys are very important to the story. Speaking of Luna, we get to introduce to her along with Leonard, or Leo for short, who are twins that have a rich lifestyle, but unfortunately they don't get to see their parents often. They duel as a coping mechanism. The last character I want to talk about is Best Girl Akiza. She is a duelist with mysterious powers that enables her to summon duel monsters along with their abilities, which means the opponent will actually feel the pain she is giving due to how rough of a childhood she had. She is called the Black Rose. when we were first introduced to her because of her powers being uncontrollable until she dueled with Yusei at the tournament. Both were seniors, so it was a big duel, and it didn't disappoint. One more thing I say my goodbyes is how the 4Kids handled the dub. I mean, it's fine. They did some, they did find some way to Americanize some stuff, but it's not bad. I did notice some editing and dialogue issues, but I can live with it. I mean, honestly, like another thing that another thing that I don't like is that the English dub of the show, yeah, it's not complete. The I believe I believe at the time, like they the four kids was dealing with a lawsuit with the licensing companies, with the production company and the licensing company. I don't. I think, yeah, I think it was both the production and the licensing company. They were dealing with a lawsuit on. I don't know what was the disagreement on, but yeah, that's the reason why 5D's had an incomplete dub, which is such a massive shame, honestly. Like, I think they went, all the way to season 3. It's just that they didn't do season. They did some episodes of season 4, but they didn't complete it. I don't think they went through season 5. I could be wrong. I do remember it had some subtitles. There was Earthbound Immortals. That was season 2. Roads to Victory. That was season 3. I forgot some of the subtitles. I forgot the other subtitles. The World Rally Grand Prix. I think that was season 3. And yeah, they introduced some other subtitles, but like the thing is, like they didn't complete the dub, which is a massive shame because I really like the besides some dialogue issues, the voice performances are very solid. It's very solid. Greg Abbey is fantastic, as you say. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite character. You say it's my favorite character, Greg Abbey has voiced, because he also voiced Raphael from the 2003 Ninja Turtles, but Yusei is right up there. He is right up there. Jack Atlas has a very interesting accent, but I got used to it very quickly. Crow was pretty cool. Leo and Luna is it's the very first big role from Cassandra Lee Morris. She was unknown at the time. The dubbing for the 4Kids dubbing was in New York. New York was a pretty big deal in the dubbing space at the time. It's a shame that 4Kids fumbled the bag. But yeah, New York is nowhere near as popular. It used to be New York and California. Nowadays it's California and Texas. Erica Schroeder as Akiza, that was peak perform. That was absolutely peak performance from her. I don't think she has ever. That's the best character Erica Schroeder has voiced. Akiza is the best character Erica Schroeder has voiced. To me that's the pinnacle of her career. She has voiced some other characters, but I feel bad that she voices 4Kids Luffy. I hate that that's her legacy, but trust me, she is a good. She delivers very good performances, and Akiza is proof of that. But otherwise, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, I love the original show. GX is great, but 5D's really hits home for me. I remember you're watching it on what was the CW4 Kids. That was a pretty big Saturday morning block for me and my brother. And I remember it used to air on Cartoon Network as well. I don't know if that was part of Toonami, but I remember it aired in the mornings. So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is a great show. Also, the English intro, bro. The English intro is peak. That is absolutely fantastic. Okay, okay. Say what you will about 4 Kids and their dubbing, but when they're when they make some good ass intros, bro. And Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is no exception to that. The opening is so fucking good, bro. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, okay. So that out of the way, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is a show that I recommend. So season one is freely available. You can watch it freely on YouTube. You can also watch it on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Website as well. Season 2 is nowhere near as available. As far as I know, yeah, I think it's on Hulu, along with the Japanese sub of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. That's also on Hulu, I believe. But yeah, if you want to see what Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is about, yeah, it's on YouTube. Season 1 is on YouTube. You can go watch it there. So yeah, if yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. This is a personal recommendation for me. If you only watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, yeah, I highly recommend you watch 5Ds. That yeah, to say that it's just as dark. It's just as dark, if not even more dark than the original show. So trust me, you guys will enjoy the show a lot. You're a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan and you somehow skipped over 5Ds, yeah, please go watch the show. You owe it to yourself to watch this. And for those that have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and if you want to, you can also follow my Instagram, backlog, and letterboxd down in the description down below. This is Namikon, and I'll see you next time.